the law. So she rewrote those, too. She became one of the most sought-after speakers on the 19th century lecture circuit, published 7 books and countless essays, supported herself, hobnobbed with the most interesting thinkers of her era, visited 22 countries, and was celebrated for her audacious ideas and keen wit. News reports often commented on the contrast between her tiny stature — she was barely 5 feet tall and weighed less than 100 pounds — and her big ideas. After charting an independent and unconventional life throughout the United States and abroad, Gardener settled in Washington, D.C., and joined the suffrage movement. In the 1910s, many suffragists deftly lobbied in Washington, but only one lived next door to the Speaker of the House of Representatives, and only one became a welcome daily presence at the White House. Gardener's many successes in D.C. demonstrate that not only is the personal political, but so too is the political personal. Upon Gardener's death in 1925, suffrage leader Maud Wood Park described her friend as the most potent factor in securing congressional passage of the 19th Amendment. And Carrie Chapman Catt, the former president of the National American Woman Suffrage Association, lauded Gardener as one of the most courageous of our time. In her eulogy, Catt also referred to Gardener as a great white soul, revealing the extent to which Gardener's story and the larger story of the women's suffrage movement is about race and, more to the point, whiteness. Even though she took great pride in her Virginia family's bold stance against slavery and intrepid service in the Union Army, Gardener devoted the penultimate chapter of her life to securing the vote for white women, all the while knowing that black women in the South, along with other women of color, would not be enfranchised. For all her intellectual bravery and iconoclasm, she could not see her way through racism. Her life sheds new light on the racial and racist dynamics underscoring the women's suffrage movement, and why it was not until the passage of the 1965 Voting Rights Act that the 19th Amendment became a reality for all women. Gardener's dying wish was that the George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, and Alexander Hamiltons of the women's rights movement would be studied by school children, commemorated in museums, and have their graves tended by citizens paying tribute to the women who devoted their lives to what she called the greatest bloodless revolution. In a curious twist, her brain remains on display at Cornell University, but hardly anyone has ever heard of Helen Hamilton Gardener or the countless other women who endured decades of scorn and unimaginable obstacles in their long campaign to attain the right to live as autonomous people. A quintessentially American story of self-making, Gardener's life provides a window into another America, a nation that women helped to make, and the nation that women imagined America might become. This book is an invitation, an entreaty, to look for more Helen Hamilton Gardeners, of all backgrounds, races, and ethnicities, to learn from the worlds they hoped to create, to revise our national stories, to celebrate their experiences and contributions, and to become familiar with their complexities, failures, and triumphs, so that we might better understand our own. Part 1. Mary Alice Chenoweth, 1853 to 1883. 1. A Chenoweth of Virginia. I have good reason to think well of my ancestors. They have made it easier for me to be fearless in telling the truth. Helen Hamilton Gardener, 1895. In 1884, Helen Hamilton Gardener made her national debut by delivering a speech entitled Men, Women, and Gods. Poised behind a music stand at New York City's Chickering Hall, she told a rapt audience that the biblical creation story had been written by fallible men, not enacted by an omniscient creator, and that this bogus